from an Arch perspective, like Arch came into this program going, okay, Quinn's going to start this year, and if things go right, he's going to go to the NFL draft, and I'm going to come in there next year.
Yeah.
I still am a believer that Quinn can still go to the NFL draft, despite saying he wants to come back. So let's say Quinn goes. They are not passing up Arch Manning. Arch Manning will transfer, and they can't risk that. Just like even off the field, let alone forget on the field. Off the field, you just can't risk that guy leaving right now. And there's still rumors that the Ohio State Buckeyes are going after him. Malik Murphy, again, I agree with you, Todd. It's great to be a Longhorn. Great to see everyone, have that response to him and be proud of him and wish him the best. And I think we're seeing that more and more with this transfer portal era. That's the best case for transfers these days. Guys are not leaving on bad terms. They're just leaving because they're not getting the playing time they want or they think they deserve, and they want to go benefit their future elsewhere. And that's been the better part of the player empowerment era. Those sour tastes that leaving for the wrong reasons or crazy reasons, those are diminishing. And it's guys being like, hey, look, like this just wasn't a right fit for me. I think McCord is different. Kyle McCord, he loses one game at Ohio State, but everyone's like, they just know he's not the guy. I think that's probably the most bad blood we're going to see this offseason. But the Malik thing is like, hey, look, man, I know I'm not your guy. Like Quinn comes back, I'm not your guy. Arch comes, he leaves, I'm still not your guy.
Same thing with Casey Thompson. Same thing with Hudson Card. I mean, I don't think there's any love lost there. I mean, everyone respects the hell out of what they did and how they represented Burnt Orange. And I think those guys, went off and got opportunities where they were the guy. And I don't blame those guys. Your years are limited as a football player. For most guys, they don't go pro, but you want to squeeze every single piece of juice out as you can and have an opportunity to potentially go pro. So I don't blame them whatsoever. But to your point on Quinn, before we get into the schedule, if he balls out, he most certainly, I think, should go to the draft, just with the injury history that he's had. I know he's an early season pick to be a Heisman favorite next year, but you don't want to have that drive you. You've had 2 pretty serious injuries in your college career thus far. And if you go out and take care of business against Washington and take care of business against either Bama or Michigan, you're going up against pros. And if you're playing in both those games, if you at least get to the championship, that means you had a pretty good game in the game before. There's enough tape there for you to get taken in the second round, maybe first round. Yeah.
You would have been the guy you'd have been the guy to go and beat Bama in Bama, one of 2 teams to do it in God knows how long. You would have dominated and been record setting, and outside of that one interception, been pretty flawless in the Big 12 championship, in the final Big 12 championship for the Texas Longhorns, which they won. You would have, like you're saying, been great in the first game because you're gonna have to be great. Quinn Ewers has to be great for us to beat the Washington Huskies. They are going to put up points. They are not a run attack team. They are an offensive juggernaut from the passing game. They are going to put up points. We love our defensive backs. It's not our strongest suit. Just David Spade. Like that's the the black and white of it. Quinn's gonna have to put up points. The Michigan offense is still strong, or Alabama offense. If we see one of those 2 teams in the next round, they're gonna have to put up points there. He's gonna have to ball out for us to win. If he balls out, and if you're gonna be a first round pick, especially at the quarterback spot, we've seen how guys wait and it never works out for them. Didn't work. Even Liner was gonna be the first overall pick. Didn't work out for him. Matt Barkley, a USC guy. Locker, who was still a top 10 pick, dropped. Like Sam Howell went from being, all right, this is going to be the first quarterback taken to a 5th round pick. Quarterbacks fluctuate the most, I would say. So if you're Quinn Ewers and you could be
look up who the favorite of the NFL MVP is right now.
Yeah. And he was Purdy. And but after his rookie year in college and sophomore year, he was supposed to be a 1st round pick.
Right.
Ended up being a 7th round pick.
Mr. Relevant.
Yeah. Even Tua. It was tank for Tua. Like, not like,
overall.
Anyway, yeah, and he Burrow went ahead of him.
Was it
anything could happen? 5th overall, yeah, because Herbert was 6. Caleb Williams, the immaculate quarterback, still might not be the first guy taken. So anything could happen with the quarterbacks. People fall in and out of love with them. If you're Quinn Ewers and you're gonna be the 4th quarterback taken in this class, which is the highest he can go, I think, because I don't think he'll jump Jaden Daniels, and obviously Drake May and Caleb Williams. There's a chance he gets taken by a pretty good organization. What if you're picked, what if the Broncos are like, we like you. We want you to be the backup for Russ and learn under Russ.
100%. I mean, look,
Pittsburgh, Minnesota.
We always say, like, you're a product of your environment, and sometimes it can screw up your development when you go to an organization that is desperate for a quarterback. I mean, look at how it worked out for Aaron Rodgers, right? Green Bay wasn't in a terrible position. They picked
And Jordan Love.
the draft and Jordan Love, right? Like you go in a position where you're already on a roster that's pretty well built out. You got good receivers, got a good line, got a good head coach, you got a good record to go with it. For Quinn Ewers, like that's the best thing possible for you. You know, you don't want to go to a team like the Carolina Panthers or the Bears right now, or I mean, I think those teams still have a lot to do. They have a lot of adjustments to make. The Raiders, yeah, like train wrecks. So at the end of the day, best case scenario for Longhorn Nation. I'm sure a lot of people are going to say, would I rather have Quinn next year? Would I rather have Arch? What you rather have as a Longhorn is for Quinn to ball out these next 2 games where he has no choice but to go to the draft, because he's did everything he can to get us to a place where we're winning a ring. And that's that. And then Arch plays. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's the best possible path.
Yeah. I mean, you win a national championship. We kept talking about it this year is the last thing I'll say on it. Caleb Williams came back, but he had already won a Heisman. So the only thing he had left to do on the checklist was win a national championship, and what he looked like when he felt that his team couldn't get there. Right. And how he kind of started to not disassociate, but not have that same focus and that level of want, because he was already ready to be a pro quarterback. And if Quinn wins a national championship, I don't care about the Heisman. You did what you were supposed to do. That's what you go to college for, to win a national championship.
Who's the best quarterback in the history of our program?
Vince Young.
Who do many people regard as the best quarterback of the 21st century in college?
Colt.
Cool. Vince Young was the double answer. Sorry. But yeah, Colt, sure. Neither of those guys have Heisman. Neither of them have Heismans.
No.
Right.
Vince Young doesn't have a Heisman. Trevor Lawrence doesn't have a Heisman. Andrew Luck doesn't have a Heisman trophy. Like, these guys don't have Heisman trophies. Like, but still, like, they went and they balled and they got the job done. Not Andrew Luck didn't win at all, but Trevor Lawrence won a national title. Vince Young won a national title. Like, that's it trumps a Heisman trophy.
Just go win a national title.